What could make one of television's most beloved women suddenly disappear without saying goodbye? A scandal? A fear? Or perhaps a secret that Hollywood never wanted anyone to uncover? For 15 years, she was the soul of NCIS, the gothic angel, with jet black hair, a voice as quick as a heartbeat, and a smile that made the world believe kindness could still exist amid fame and deception. But where the lights shine brightest, the shadows are always deepest. They said she left to find peace. Yet what kind of peace requires bodyguards, therapy sessions, and a multi-million-dollar non-disclosure agreement? Some say she was threatened. Others whisper she knew too much. No one truly knows what drove Pauley Perrette to vanish from Hollywood. All we know is that the day she left, television lost a soul. And fans have never stopped asking, what really happened to the angel of NCIS? Stay until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear might change the way you see that angel forever. And if you love Hollywood's untold stories, don't forget to subscribe for the next secret waiting to be revealed. Born in 1969 in New Orleans, Pauley Perrette grew up in a family that never stayed in one place for long. Her father worked for the railroad, so her childhood was spent on endless train rides, moving more than 14 times before she even turned 18. In every new town, she barely had time to learn how to say hello before she had to learn how to say goodbye. Perhaps it was that constant movement that sharpened her ability to observe people and gave her a soul deeply attuned to loneliness. As a child, Pauley never dreamed of becoming a star. She wanted to be an FBI investigator. She was fascinated by criminology and driven by a desire to understand why people do terrible things. After graduation, she studied psychology, sociology, and criminology, spending hours buried in library archives, reading real case files instead of novels. She wanted to catch criminals, not act like one. But life in New York was never easy. To pay rent and tuition, Pauley worked countless odd jobs, bartending, handing out flyers at night, even dog-sitting for strangers. Then one day, in a small Manhattan cafe, she overheard two people talking about an upcoming casting call. Without much thought, she decided to show up, and fate took a sudden turn. Some say that when Pauley walked into the room, director Donald Bellisario took one look at her and said, "No need for an audition. She's the one." What do you think about this, and let us know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on the stories hidden behind the brightest lights of Hollywood. On NCIS, Pauley Perrette brought to life Abby Sciuto, the quirky forensic scientist with jet black pigtails, a choker around her neck, and eyes that seemed to light up every time she discovered something new. Abby was different. Not the kind of different designed to attract attention, but the kind that made people feel safe around her. Gentle, brilliant, and just the right amount of adorably eccentric. She combined the precision of a scientist with the heart of a child who still believed there was goodness in everyone. On set, Pauley didn't just recite lines, she lived the character. She studied real DNA analysis, trace evidence, and forensic procedures so thoroughly that many of the show's scenes were later confirmed by experts as scientifically accurate. Whenever Abby spoke about chemicals or fingerprints, Pauley's voice carried authenticity because she truly understood what she was saying. Few people know that many of Abby's signature traits, the way she held a pipette, the heavy metal music blasting in her lab, were Pauley's own creative additions, inspired by her background in criminology. One former FBI agent even wrote her a letter saying, "Thank you for showing the world that scientists have souls too." And perhaps that's why Abby Sciuto became more than just a character. She became an icon, a symbol for an entire generation who believed that intelligence could shine just as brightly as beauty. NCIS wasn't just a TV show, it was a global phenomenon, a defining part of American pop culture for nearly 2 decades. Every week, more than 20 million viewers tuned in to watch the crimes, the clues, and the smile of that eccentric forensic scientist named Abby Sciuto. In a world full of stoic investigators, Abby was the light. She was a little goofy, a little mischievous, yet she embodied what audiences longed for most: kindness. When her teammates were broken, she was the one who made the coffee, touched their shoulder and softly said, "It's going to be okay." She didn't need long speeches. A single look from Abby was enough to make people believe that goodness still existed in a world of violence. By 2011, Pauley Perrette was officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the most popular female crime drama actress in the world. It was a title no one had ever achieved before, and perhaps no one ever will again. But in Hollywood, when a character becomes the heart of a series, power begins to shift, and in a place where every spotlight shines on the same person, someone inevitably feels overshadowed. Some say that from that moment on, the atmosphere on the NCIS set was never quite the same again. Because in this world, power always comes with a price. In 2016, the NCIS set was as busy as ever. Bright lights, rolling cameras, and Mark Harmon, who played Special Agent Gibbs, arriving with his rescue dog, Dave. It was a habit he'd kept for years, something small no one ever questioned, until that day. Without warning, Dave lunged and bit a crew member, leaving a wound so deep it required 15 stitches. CBS immediately halted production for 2 hours. Then, like so many small scandals in Hollywood, the incident was handled internally, and work went on as if nothing had happened. But for Pauley Perrette, that memory never faded. She adored animals. She had spent her life rescuing stray dogs and cats, yet the event haunted her. To her, a dog attack wasn't just a physical injury, it was a warning that even the safest places could suddenly turn dangerous. According to several crew members, Pauley asked the studio to ensure that the dog would never return to the set. But a few weeks later, Dave was back. No one said a word. No one dared to ask why. From that day on, Pauley Perrette and Mark Harmon were never seen together in the same frame again. 2 stars, 2 worlds, divided by a dog, and a line that could never be crossed. By 2017, something on the NCIS set had begun to feel off. The shooting schedule was quietly but noticeably rearranged. Pauley filmed on Mondays. Mark Harmon filmed on Tuesdays. The two never crossed paths, even though, on paper, their characters still shared scenes, still talked, still laughed together. Through clever editing and camera angles, the illusion was seamless. Audiences never realized that the Gibbs team had already fallen apart behind the scenes. Crew members later described the atmosphere as heavy, as if someone had turned off the lights in the middle of a performance. People still smiled, still joked, but behind those smiles was an emptiness no one could fill. When Pauley's final episode aired, more than 15 million people watched. She said goodbye through tears, thanking the fans, the crew, and her NCIS family. But there was one name she never mentioned, and there was no real hug between them, only a cut-together glance, cold and distant. Some on the crew claimed that before the split schedules, there had been a heated argument between them, one so intense that the director had to leave the room. No one knows what was said that day. But from that moment on, the 2 stars of NCIS never stood together again. After months of silence, Pauley Perrette began to take action. Not with headlines or press conferences, but with quiet paperwork. She filed 3 separate reports to CBS's Human Resources Department, all concerning workplace safety. In them, she stated that she had been threatened and emotionally harmed. The words were clinical, but the fear behind them was real. In Hollywood, a place where every smile is rehearsed for the camera, no one imagined that one of television's brightest faces was living in daily fear. CBS launched an internal investigation. No one outside the process knew what questions were asked or who was interviewed. But months later, the result was silence. And a year after that, Pauley left NCIS. No explanation. No farewell party. Nothing. Then, one morning in June, she posted on Twitter, "I'm terrified. I have nightmares. And I will never go back." One single tweet, and Hollywood shook. Fans demanded answers. The press speculated. But Pauley disappeared. No one ever learned what that fear truly meant. Yet, according to some crew members, Pauley had hired a private investigator to document safety violations on set. And when CBS received that report, the studio did what Hollywood does best: paid millions of dollars to buy silence. CBS never released the details of what happened. In a brief statement, the network simply said, "The matter has been resolved privately. All parties are satisfied." It was the kind of response Hollywood knows too well, where silence is often the most expensive language of all. At the time, CBS was already struggling with a wave of internal scandals and harassment allegations. The media was relentless. The company's stock dipped, and a quiet settlement with Pauley Perrette seemed like a convenient way to contain the damage before the fire spread to other corners of the television empire. After that short statement, everything went dark. No more interviews, no more explanations. Pauley vanished from red carpets and talk shows as if she had never existed in that glittering world at all. But within the industry, the rumors kept spreading. Some claimed CBS had paid between $5 and $9 million for her silence, and within that agreement there was said to be one condition: never speak of what happened. Since then, every question has been met with silence, and what remains is a cold truth. In Hollywood, silence isn't always innocence. Sometimes it's the only way to admit that something truly did happen. Two years after leaving NCIS, Pauley Perrette made a surprising return to television. This time, it wasn't in a lab or amid tense criminal investigations, but in a lighthearted sitcom called Broke 2020. She played a simple, funny woman who lived wholeheartedly for her family. After years of turmoil, fans were thrilled to see her smile again. A genuine smile. No longer forced like it had been during her final days on the NCIS set. But that light didn't last long. Broke survived only 13 episodes. Ratings fell, the network pulled the plug, and once again, Pauley disappeared. No anger, no disappointment, just a quiet exit. As if she had known all along that this would be her final farewell to Hollywood. 2 months later, she posted a brief tweet that, for many, marked the end of her career. "I'm officially retired. I only listen to God, animals, and nature." Some say she sold her Los Angeles home, leaving behind the spotlight and the rumors, and moved south to a small house by the river where no one knows her real address. There, it's just the sound of water, the wind, and her rescue dogs, the family she chose. Perhaps, after everything, peace was the final role Pauley Perrette ever wanted to play. Outside the bright lights of Hollywood, Pauley Perrette was more than just an actress. She was a woman of action, quiet, persistent, and full of compassion. Even at the height of her NCIS fame, she devoted much of her time and income to animal rescue organizations, especially those helping abandoned dogs and cats. She showed up in person, bathing them, bandaging their wounds, calling each one by name as if greeting an old friend. Her kindness didn't stop there. Pauley was also a familiar face in campaigns supporting American veterans suffering from PTSD. She believed that a dog could heal what medicine could not. That belief led her to fund the Pups for Patriots program. where each dog is specially trained to help a veteran rediscover peace of mind. Each training costs around $30,000, and thanks to her support, more than 160 veterans found loyal companions. One friend recalled sitting with her on the porch when Pauley softly said, "If I ever disappear, just know I wanted peace, not because I was afraid." Perhaps, to her, true love wasn't found in grand gestures or promises, but in small acts of kindness, where humans and animals quietly learn how to heal the world together. Before there were lights, microphones, and red carpets, there was a little girl sitting alone in a classroom in New York, quietly reading real criminal case files. Not out of curiosity, but because she wanted to understand. Why do people do terrible things? Why are there those who feel no remorse and victims who never get an apology? That girl was Pauley Perrette, and in her 20s, she didn't dream of becoming an actress. She wanted to be an investigator, someone who sought the truth, even when the truth could hurt. She studied criminology, psychology, and sociology. To pay for school, she worked in bars, washing glasses while secretly taking notes on human behavior, how people lied, how they showed fear. Little did she know, those quiet observations would one day become the foundation for the role that made her famous worldwide. Abby Sciuto. Perhaps what drove her away from Hollywood wasn't fear or scandal, but something deeper. The realization that she had come to understand the sins of the world she once wanted to fix. And when someone has seen too much of the darkness, sometimes the only thing they long for is to live in the light of peace. Though Pauley Perrette has long stepped away from Hollywood's spotlight, the image of Abby Sciuto continues to live on in the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. The petite forensic scientist with jet black hair and a mischievous smile became an inspiration for thousands of young women to pursue careers in science, forensics, and technology, fields once considered too dry or meant for men. Abby made them believe that you could be smart, rebellious, and kind, and still be unapologetically yourself. She shattered the mold of what a traditional scientist was supposed to look like, proving that being different isn't a weakness, it's power. What began as a fictional character through Pauley's performance transcended the screen and became something real. For 15 years, Abby didn't just solve crimes, she healed, she comforted. She reminded audiences that even in a world filled with wrongdoing, there is still room for kindness. Some say that if NCIS was the brain of America, then Abby Sciuto was its heart. And even though Pauley has left, that heart keeps beating. In every lab, in every young woman in a white coat smiling into a microscope, just like she once did. Though Pauley Perrette has left the bright lights of Hollywood behind, the image of Abby Sciuto still lives on, in the hearts of millions of viewers around the world. The petite forensic scientist with jet black hair and that mischievous smile became an inspiration for thousands of young women to pursue careers in science, forensics, and technology, fields once dismissed as too dry or meant for men. Abby made them believe that you could be smart, rebellious, and kind, and still be unapologetically yourself. She broke the mold of what a scientist was supposed to look like, proving that being different isn't a weakness, it's strength. What began as a fictional character through Pauley's performance transcended television and became something real. For 15 years, Abby didn't just solve crimes, she healed, she comforted, and she reminded audiences that even in a world full of wrongdoing, there is still room for kindness. Some say angels never die. They simply fly to a place where no one can hurt them anymore. And perhaps that's what happened to Pauley Perrette. After all the noise, the tension, and the secrets buried beneath Hollywood's glitter, she chose to walk away, quietly, without bitterness. The light around her didn't fade. It merely shifted, leaving the studio to shine on a gentler corner of the world where there's wind, a river, the sound of friendly dogs, and a woman learning how to smile at herself again. Pauley is no longer Abby Sciuto, the rebellious forensic scientist of NCIS. She's simply herself once more, the girl who once wanted to understand why people do bad things. Perhaps now she understands. And once you truly understand, maybe you no longer want to stand in the middle of all that pain. Pause. The music slows, almost to silence. But the question remains. Did she leave because she was afraid? Or because she saw something Hollywood never wanted the world to see? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe every star has an untold story, don't forget to subscribe because in Hollywood, the truth always has more than one side.